Hey everybody, it is Chris Brown, your real estate professional and marketing entrepreneur. So I am trusting that everyone is having a great day. It is another episode of State of the Real Estate Market as we're going to go ahead and get things started here. This is the last episode of the year. So a lot of people have been asking, what should we expect and, what's going on. Well, we're going to get into that. So be sure to stay tuned. So as we get warmed up here, get everything in line. Let's see here. Let's go. All right, so once again, State of the Real Estate Market. This is the December episode, guys. So this is the last one of 2024. So everyone that has been paying attention and has been following, you are aware that this is a platform that we not only talk about buying, selling, and investing in real estate, but we also talk about building generational wealth as well as some of the hot entrepreneur topics. So a lot of times, or all the time, I'm around different entrepreneurs and people always ask me questions about, have I tried this new business or new business model and things like that. So be sure to stay tuned because we do talk about those items and want to make sure we keep you guys abreast of what is going on. But like I said, this is the December update and this is the last one for 2024. So we're all getting ready to get riled up for 2025. And if you are thinking about buying or selling in the Tampa Bay area, be sure to check out this episode and future episodes. So like, subscribe, and be sure to click on the notification button so as new information is updated, you are receiving the alerts. So let's go ahead and dive on in, guys. So like I said, like, subscribe, and December. Let's see what December is really what's gonna really happen. What to expect in the housing market for 2025. So there is still a lot of uncertainty in the market. I think you guys have been hearing that all year round. What's going to happen? What does it mean when people are thinking about putting their property on the market? So they expect it to sell fast. What truly is going on? Well, with the market and how it is going back and forth, it's going to be something to keep an eye on. But there are going to be people buying, there are going to be people selling, and there's going to be different reasons why they're doing this. And it's always been the case before. I think before interest rates were very low, so a lot of people realized that, hey, I can afford a home, whereas there was a point that home affordability was a question. So interest rates were rather low, so a lot of people were jumping in the market. There was a lot of new construction. The supply, the supply was more balanced, as the availability of real estate that is out there was a bit more balanced, whereas in the past it has not been as balanced. So I get this question on the regular, as in what is going on. So let's see here. All right, so guys, be sure as we're moving into 2025, just be aware it's going to be new territory for lots of people that are involved in the real estate market, for buyers, for sellers, for different professionals. If you're looking at new construction, old construction, a lot of this is going to really come down to what is the market in your specific market. When I say market, I mean, what is your specific market doing? Because a lot of times, and I've had a couple of videos on this before, what you see in the media may not apply to your particular market. And you hear me make a couple of comments in regards to commercial real estate later on in this broadcast, but you'll see some of the differences. And then now compare that what national news is compared to, say, my market and what's going on. My market is the Tampa Bay market. So we'll definitely dive into that. Are interest rates still an issue for the real estate market? Yes, yes. A lot of people are anticipating rates to make a little bit of a shift. If that's going to happen, we'll know. If that's going to, it's predicted that we should see some type of shift. Now, we did receive some type of a shift, and I'll go over the article where there was a little bit of a decrease in the interest rate. And usually when you have a little bit of decrease, it starts bringing interest back again. But that happened, say, this month, but you really won't see the impact until the end of January, February, March. And then if it stays at that lower rate, that lower rate, is it enough to really get people off the fence that have been really sitting there and really depending on what's going on? It may not be a whole lot to get a lot of people off, but it'll start making people start thinking again. Traditionally, what does happen is that we are in the holiday season. When we're here in December, being in the holiday season, you're going to start running into situations where people are like, they're going to want to sell, but they're in a position where they're like, hey, if I sell right now, should I really focus on that, or should I go ahead and just focus on the holidays? The holidays are going to take a lot of people mindset off of selling their home. Now, come the beginning of the year, who's going to be out in front of those people? Who are going to be, everybody's like, hey, it's a new year, new me. I'm on this New Year's resolution. I want to buy a house this year, or I want to sell my home this year. What do I need to get done to get my property sold? And that's where a person like me gets involved, where I want to help you get your property sold in 2025. That's a lot going on, a lot of opportunities for people, and it really depends on your situation. Uh, if you purchase your home, say 4 or 5 years, more than 4 or 5 years ago, ideally you should have equity in your home. And that should stay true with the number of properties. Now, some people may have less equity than they did, say, just a couple of years ago. And I did see that. And a lot of people are thinking that they can still sell their home at that price. It's really figuring out what's going on now. The market is different from a few years ago. It's different from just a year ago. Not a whole lot of sales has occurred compared to, say, like during that pandemic time where we just saw things going through the roof. We haven't had that type of activity. But depending on your market, properties are still moving. I know in the Tampa Bay market, people are still buying homes, people are still selling homes, and people are still building homes. So we still have builders building. They're not building as much as they were. Homes aren't staying on the market. So, excuse me, homes are staying on the market a little bit longer than what they previously were. Prices are starting to come down a little bit, and I don't see that as being a, the traditional trend as the prices are going to keep reducing. It's just that you had a lot of people that were placing their properties on the market and they were placing them way too high. And people saw that. And if your property isn't very unique and somebody really wants that particular property, it's not going to sell. It's going to sit there on the market. It does you no good, and it does whoever you're working with no good. So really understand what your market is doing and anticipate staying on the market a little bit longer than it has been in the past. I think some people were looking at properties. There was a time where within the first couple of hours, you have multiple offers. That's when I say when things are crazy. You stick a property out there, you would have a bus line of cars waiting outside the property, waiting to take a look at it. You'll have people sending in offers, and it's only been a couple of hours, not even an hour, still having multiple offers. That's not the case right now. So right now, properties are sitting a little bit. You are finding people that are being a little bit more mindful of what they're actually placing on the market. By them placing properties on the market that are, actually a little bit more maintained than what they have been in the past, that's been a big concern for a lot of people. A lot of these properties weren't as maintained as they have been in the past. And nowadays, those properties are, people are, doing the touch-up paint. They're changing out the flooring, the lighting to help brighten up the property, making sure the lawn. Excuse me, sorry about this. This is live. Sorry about that, guys. Making sure that the lawn is taken care of, the landscaping is taken care of. People were placing properties on the market that really didn't have any business on the market, but people were buying them. So, you can't stop that. But nowadays that has changed. It is taking a little bit more care and really getting a professional opinion on how to get your property. So moving into 2025, I really see a lot of that happening. you're going to still have your individuals that are going to want to try to sell their property on their own. It's been around for years, so you'll always see that, and I'll always anticipate seeing that as well. But what's really going to happen is really getting someone that's going to be able to, one, help you get the showings done, one, help market the property. That's a big thing for me, helping you get the property marketed. It's more than just placing your property on Zillow or Realtor.com. Very helpful platforms, don't get me wrong. But however, there's other ways of getting the property marketed in addition to those, because those are, I mean, you can't ignore those two big marketing platforms. And you want to make sure your property's on there. Even being on there, there's even additional ways of getting your property marketed additionally. So be sure to speak to your real estate professional, make sure to see what their status is on those type of platforms, and if there are additional ways that you may be able to invest in as a seller to get your property sold. But like I said, moving in 2025, expectations of homes and properties being placed on the market will be a bit different. So being able to sell your home, say vacant versus occupied, would be a little bit more leverage. Whereas in the past, that hasn't been the deal, hasn't been the situation, but everyone's situation is a little bit different. A lot of people are waiting to sell their current home before they can purchase their next one. So I always tell them, declutter as much as possible. A lot of times, if you're moving, go ahead and start packing up stuff. A lot of the things that you're not using, pack them up in boxes and place them in the garage. The garage is doesn't need to be as visible as a lot of other parts of the home. So the garage is always a good place. Or if you have a storage unit, go ahead and place those boxes in the storage unit. Because either way, if you're moving, you're going to have to pack those items up. So why not go ahead and pack them up now? Place them somewhere where they're all in one area. If they're in the garage, just make sure that people can kind of see around in the garage. They can actually have access to the electric box. If your electrical panel is right there in the garage, make sure that is available to them for them to be able to access. So let's make sure that those expectations are sought after in 2025. What should we expect housing prices to do? As I mentioned before, prices have come down a little bit, but not enough to really make people, go bonkers or really think that that's the new trend. So keep that in mind, guys. Prices, I do anticipate prices to decline a little bit and just a smidgen, but that's really anticipating if the interest rates stay where they are. Now, if the interest rates have a bit more of a decrease, then what's going to happen is you're going to start getting that demand a little bit more from the buyers. The home affordability is a little bit more. So what's going to happen is, you may have some sellers that may try to ask a little bit more, or you may have some of the more educated sellers and be like, hey, this is what I'm asking for, and this is the asking price. So they're going to really understand what the market is doing. Hey, these homes recently sold, and my home is very comparable, and this is what I'm looking to sell my home at, very comparable to what's already sold. So a lot of times, if you're really trying to get that property sold, you want to place your home on the market and advertise it so that it can actually sell, and not so much that you're trying to compete with the community, see who can sell their home for the highest amount. That's not the case. The case is get the property sold so you can transition to your next step. It's really about a seller's motivation. If the seller is really motivated to get their property sold, and you can tell. I've been in the real estate profession for a little bit over 20 years now, and with that being said, you can tell who wants to sell the property. You can tell as in how, and you can tell who wants to sell and who actually understands the process. A lot of times with the information that's out there now, guys, go ahead and educate yourself. Educate yourself as a homeowner, as in what it takes to get the property sold. Have that understanding. So if you understand that in the beginning, you can understand what investments that you need to make into the property to get it sold. Now, are there ways of getting the property sold as is? Yes. I deal with people like that on a regular basis, weekly, on a weekly basis, where people, they just want to sell the property as is. Hey, let's get an offer for the way that the property is right now. And there are people that are out there. Now, don't expect to get top dollar for it. I want you to get top dollar, but don't expect to get top dollar when you're not looking to present your property or make little small repairs to the property so that it is a bit more appealing to more buyers. The more buyers that it's appealing to, the higher ideally that your property can be priced. So keep that in mind. And then also keep it in mind with the housing, the prices of homes, there's negotiation. And what I mean is if the property needs certain things done to it, there's also having an understanding that a lot of insurance companies are not accepting homes or not providing insurance. I'll definitely say in my market, in the Florida market, if they suspect that there's like an older roof, because you can imagine Florida just got hit by two hurricanes in a row, like in two hurricanes in like a 2 week period. And that's Tampa Bay area, to be more specific. And if you have an older roof right now, and when I say older, it doesn't have to be seriously older. I know these shingles say 30-year shingles. You're not going to get that. What I've experienced is that definitely if it's over 15 years, they're wanting you to have it replaced. If it's 10 years or older, if it's 10 years and older, between 10 and 15, they're really inspecting it, but you may be able to get by with it. So that's a big thing moving forward. So if you have an older roof and you're placing your home on the market, you're going to have to anticipate that being an issue. And then people are going to actually want to lowball the number a bit more because they know that it's going to need to be replaced. So if there's a way of negotiating that, working with your real estate professional, if they have special relationships, and that's what I'll say, if they have special relationships that may be able to help you get that taken care of before you place your property on the market, or have it already negotiated so that once you do have a very serious buyer, that it's taken care of. Hot water tanks. That is huge. And I've run into this a lot. If you have a hot water tank where it's at the end of life expectancy, as they may say, and the inspection report, you're going to have to get it replaced. They're not going to provide insurance. And then there's always, if there is somebody that'll provide insurance in regards to a home that has a hot water tank that is past its life expectancy, there's always some caveat to it that makes it unfavorable to the buyer. So keep that in mind as a seller. And this is how I'm educating my sellers moving forward. I'm always asking, well, how old is a hot water tank? They're like, it's newer. How old is the AC? Well, it's newer. That's great. Those are good things. How old is the roof? These are things that we need to know. The electrical panel. If you have an older home, please have it updated. Please make sure that you're not doing the, I think they call it pigtailing or, pigtail is basically taking a wire. There's a slot for one wire per breaker. A lot of times people are placing more than one wire to a breaker. And when that occurs, they see that in inspection report, and that is a hazard, and that's going to be a big no-no. So with it being a big no-no, someone that's going to create an issue where you're going to have to get it repaired in order for you to sell your home. So keep that in mind as you're moving forward, especially in today's market and trying to get your property sold. In 2025, that expectation is definitely going to be there. So keep that in mind. But also so much to tell you guys. Let's see here. All right. All right. Should you consider selling your home? It's always a good situation. If you're in a position where you need to sell your home, and I say need because there's always things that life occurs, right? Life occurs. If your family is expanding, life is occurring. So you may need to get a bigger home. You're moving, job transfer. You're going to probably need to sell your home. You want to see how it impacts you in your new community. Now, I've seen people where they need to sell their home and they get everything packed up and they move to their new location. Then they place the property on the market. And the reason being is because it will allow them to sell their property in a vacant status so that new potential homeowners will come in and see themselves in that. There's a big value in being able to do that. So keep that in mind. Being able to place your property on the market in a vacant status where you're already moved to your next location, there is leverage to that in the negotiating as well. So keep that in mind as you're moving forward in 2025. be upfront with you. There's divorce. Divorce is another issue why people may need to sell their homes. There are death in the family. That's another reason why people are selling homes. So life is happening and it's causing a lot of people to actually sell their homes. Now, if these interest rates do take a bigger or significant drop, then you're going to probably see a lot more people willing to sell their current home so that they can move somewhere else. They maybe have already been thinking about moving to another side of town, another state. I'm in the Tampa Bay area, Florida. Everyone's known it for years, decades, to be exact. Everyone moves to Florida, or they vacation in Florida. I just had a buddy. He just visited Florida with his family, and then it's interesting because to a lot of people the weather was cool. A lot of people are anticipating 80s, 90-degree weather in December. And it has. And right now, it's like that outside right now. But while they were here, it was in the 60s. So it was a little bit cooler than what it typically is. But they just left where the highs were in the 30s. So there's a significant difference. And it was highs in the 30s. It was muggy, no sunlight. But when you come here, we're in the 60s, bright sun, no clouds or anything along those lines. So, what do you prefer? A lot of people prefer Florida. So, but keep that in mind moving forward with 2025. Selling your home is going to be a different process. I always tell people it's not the same as it was, selling a home a couple of years ago, not even really a year ago. The process is different, how sellers are able to present themselves. There was a big lawsuit. I did a video on this before, but it was a big lawsuit that had passed the rules and guidelines that had changed. So keep that in mind as we are moving forward here. So let me make sure we are good to go. I want to share some additional information with you guys, but I want to make sure that you guys make sure we are looking good. All right, everything is streaming, looking good, looking good. All right, all right. All right, anything in the chat? What do we have in the chat? Just want to take a look at the chat. Let's say, all right, all right, all right. So just had a couple of questions there, but all right, there we go, there we go. So just wanted to say a couple of things in the chat. Just happy holidays to everyone. I trust all is well. So as we look at the last piece in the agenda, or second to last piece in the agenda that we have for today, like I said, this is the wrap up for the year. Affordable housing. Moving forward, affordable housing is going to be very crucial. It is going to be a very big topic for a lot of folks, and a lot of people are aware of it. We're going to see what's going to be done. What's going to be done with affordable housing? How are we going to make it happen? How are we going to make it happen with affordable housing? How we, as people are getting priced out of the market because of the interest rates, and that's being realistic. People are getting priced out of the market because of the interest rates. Interest rates are on a higher level. When they're on a high note, I know we were trying to counter the inflation that was going on. That was a big scare. So as rates, that's always something that people are going to not want to go back to. If the rates are dropped too fast, then we're going to be impacted by inflation. That's what the economists say. And that's how it's been trending as well. That was their reasoning for increasing the interest rates so that we can reduce the inflation. So moving forward, affordable housing is going to be a big concern. It's interesting, even in the Tampa Bay area. I was actually at a luncheon and had an opportunity to meet someone that I've never met before. Her name was Kathy Woods, and she was, explaining some of her role and her thoughts about affordable housing. It's not about just having housing available, but it's about having affordable housing. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people work, say, in the downtown area or the outside areas, and they need to be able to afford if they can't afford the gas, if they have to travel too far to work, now they're going to have to pay gas, insurance, car notes. You have a lot tolls. There's a lot more expenses involved if they have to live too far out to be able to afford a home. So it's a lot of big things. It was just interesting, just for an individual like her to be able to say that, she is, has concerns about it, and as an organization wants to see how they may be able to help. It may not be, digging trenches and stuff like that, but just seeing how they can be a reflection of it. And I think how they've helped in with some of the things that they have going on. She didn't go into full detail, but they have different philanthropy things that are going on to help individuals and so forth. So that's always a good thing. That people are giving back. A lot of the big businesses and companies that are coming to the Tampa Bay area are finding different ways to support, say, small business owners. That's a huge thing because a lot of people are trying to make a living. They're small business owners. Are we also pricing out small business owners? Another big company that is coming to the Tampa Bay area is Foot Locker. Foot Locker's headquarters isn't stationed in New York City, and now they're going to be transitioning to downtown St. Petersburg. So with them being in downtown St. Petersburg, they'll be bringing their team down, I'm sure. But then at the same time, a lot of people are going to be wanting to work with Foot Locker. So it's going to be a mix and match. People coming, so that means more people moving to Florida. Once again, I tell you, more people moving to Florida, but they don't want their employees to be too far out. They still want them to be in close range. A lot more people may be working from home, so that may be an option also moving forward. So keeping that in mind, affordable housing is a big topic. There's so many ways that it's impacted, but affordable housing is a big deal. And, it's something that I'll probably be bringing up a few more times, just kind of give you guys some of the new trends that I'm seeing. I mean, I met another guy, he was doing 3D printing. He's actually making the walls for homes, using a 3D printer. And so I'm looking forward to checking out some of the showcasings that they may have for the 3D printer as well. So a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline, things are happening. So I'm very interested to see how that all works out. So what I wanted to definitely share with you guys is, I know we're at the end of the year here. Finished the last item there, affordable housing. But there are a couple of articles. A lot of people are always asking me what kind of research that I'm finding out there in regards to, what's going on. So one of the big things is, a lot of people are wanting to know, what are some of the I call them the big dogs. What are the big dogs thinking? What are the big dogs doing? So I did have an opportunity to look at this interview. And this gentleman, Mike Miller, he is the CEO of Century 21. You guys know that. So with Mike did a little interview, and I'll go ahead and share that with you guys, so you guys can take a look and let me know what you guys think. And let's see what Mike has to say about the housing market here. Let's see. Yep, there we go.
Decade-long run-up in price appreciation, which we've seen certainly double-digit price appreciation over the last 4 years, is starting to settle in a little bit. I think we'll end the year anywhere from flat.
Oh, so we had a little stop there.
To 2 or 3% increase year over year. In fact, there is some buyer negotiation that happens out there where about 40% of the homes come to market are actually taking a price decrease. Here's the other good news, and you're flashing it up now, but the mortgage rates, even though they've come down just a little bit, they are creating more demand. I think week over week, we're up about 3% in purchase applications.
Oh, wow.
That's 4 consecutive weeks in a row. And believe it or not, you know where we were last year, but it's about a 50% increase from November 2023. On top of that, and we've seen the Fed start cutting in September, what that turned into was units across the country lifting and increasing. First time year over year in October, increase in units since 2021. So I think we're seeing some positive signs. Affordability is still the biggest issue, and that's obviously mainly a driver of rates.
But there is limited supply, right?
There is limited supply. I mean, we are at decade lows in units that we're selling here. That said, we are a 38% increase in inventory year over year. And you're right. I mean, I argue about this all the time, or argue for it. And I think, hopefully the new administration is going to clear some path for it. But we are needing more development in this country to keep up with the rapid generations who are coming into their main home buying years.
You know, I'm wondering if there's, going to be a problem with inflation next year. Even Donald Trump couldn't rule it out next year as a possibility with ignited growth and the rest. But that means market rates could go backing up a little bit. The Fed could pause on rate cuts a little bit, if not go the other way. I don't know how likely that is, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I hope that the Fed stays true to what they were talking about, which is a couple of small rate cuts over the next year. I mean, what people don't realize and what consumers should realize is when the Fed starts talking about it, it's already starting to get baked into the mortgage number. So if you are a home buyer, be prepared to act. Make sure you're talking to a great real estate agent who can help you through the process. It is not a quick process and it takes time. But, I think the rates are obviously the main driver. We're a very sensitive market to that. And honestly, to your point earlier, I think it's really more about the inventory. That said, Neil, you got to think about this, and this is another point back to the rates. Is probably 70% of existing homeowners right now have rates that are below 4%, and so
Wow.
They're not ready to
Still
move up or move out and create more inventory unless those rates move.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Real quick, are you optimistic that next year will be better?
I do think we're going to see an increase. I think we'll see an increase, a small increase in units and price, no matter who you talk to. Fannie, Freddie, Goldman, NAR, they're all thinking that we're going to be a couple percentage points up in price and a couple percentage points up in units. And hopefully we move, like I said, more to a normalized housing market.
Yeah, whatever that is these days, right? Mike, thank you very much. Good seeing you. Mike, it's the Century 21 Real Estate.
Well, there you guys go. That is Mike, CEO with Century 21, giving you the spill. Like I said, you guys, this isn't all made up information, all coming from me. It's done with a lot of research. Had an opportunity to listen to that interview and watch that interview that Mike did, and really giving the outlook on what to expect in 2025. It's another situation where we expect it to be a little bit better. Now, will it be significantly better? It's unheard of right now, right? So keep that in mind as we're moving forward. Really understanding what people are doing. What is the market doing? What are they wanting? What is the demand right now in the real estate market? You have so many people that are anticipating a better market, which I can see it being a little bit better, especially if we do get those rate cuts that are anticipated from the Feds. And actually, I want to share an article with you guys from Jerome Powell. If you guys are familiar with Jerome Powell, that's he's probably getting a lot of conversation. He's the talk of a lot of conversations these days, especially when it comes to the rates. But just wanted to share this one particular article. It says Fed Chair Jerome Powell issues warning on inflation, weak housing market. So that basically comes down to situation, as we kind of discussed a little bit earlier, is that if these rates drop significantly too fast, what's going to happen is you're going to experience the inflation. And that's what we don't want. Yeah, I'm sure we've all experienced it, especially when it comes to the food. Everybody's eating food these days, and you're seeing it in the food prices. Actually, um, I just experienced something this morning where I went to uh, purchase an omelet, but on the page, it's a nice little breakfast place. It said it was one price, and I saw the price. Oh, that's a good deal. And but when they were ringing it up, the numbers just didn't add up in my head that quick, and I was just like, it sounds a few dollars off. And I asked, I was like, hey, what's going on? I saw that the price, and it was like, well, eggs have gone up, so we're charging a bit more, a few dollars more. I'm like, well, you didn't place it on the menu. She was like, yeah, that means we would have to reprint the whole menu. So keep that in mind. I find that to be a little interesting because it just happened to me. But prices are increasing, especially when it comes down to food. Other things that are going on that we have, mortgage rates drop to 6.6. And this is about an article that was done about a week ago. And mortgage rates dropped to about 6.6 as a balanced market comes into view for 2025. A lot of people are anticipating that. And that's actually from another article information provided by realtor.com. So a lot of you guys are familiar with that. So that's information that's coming down the pipeline, and people are anticipating some balance. Are we really going to see these cuts? Now, they're not promising significant cuts, but the feds are promising some type of cuts regarding the mortgage rates. And these rates, as they do come down a little bit more, you're going to have more buyers that are going to be a little bit more interested in the market, and it's going to start sparking interest. Now, are they going to really dive in right now and buy properties right away? Maybe not right away, but what is going to happen, people are going to start being a little bit more interested. And as people are becoming more interested, they're going to be taking that time to actually start educating themselves about the new market. Because even being a buyer now, the market is different. And what I mean by it's more than just the numbers, it's just how the process goes. The process is definitely different. So you definitely want to make sure that you're working with a real estate professional who is a bit more up to date as in what is going on in the market, in today's market. Because trust me, as a buyer, the process has changed. And even as sellers, there are some myths out there. The process has changed a little bit more, or has changed for sellers as well. But there's some myths that are out there, especially when the conversation comes around the commissions that you're paying out. So be sure to pay attention to that, and be sure to get the information and details of that as well. So keep that in mind. And what else can I share with you guys while I have your attention? Fannie Mae economists predict slow housing market in 2025. So that's just similar conversation once again. So these are different economists once again that are saying that, hey, the market is not going to be significant in either direction, but they do feel that it is going to be going in that upward trend, and that's what we want. We want the upward trend. And at the end of the day, as long as we have the upward trend, if you're a homeowner, you want the upward trend, and that's how you want it to kind of peer out. And I see that construction is continuing on, and construction is different in each market. And then when I say construction, I mean not only just for single family, but I also mean for commercial. Compared to other markets, I look at my market here in the Tampa Bay area. We have a lot of commercial construction that's going on. And people are like, well, why would you do that? People aren't, when you think commercial, you think big office buildings. Well, a lot of companies in other markets, they are finding vacancies when they have those big companies, the people aren't returning back to the office and so forth. But that's actually different for a lot of people who are, say, in the Tampa Bay area. If you look at the downtowns that are in the Tampa Bay area, you're finding that the numbers, especially if you want to lease, if you want to, what's it, 5-star property, you're going to be paying a little bit more than what you would ideally think. And what I mean by that is because there's a demand in the Tampa Bay area. A lot of businesses, like I said, we just have a big corporation that's moving to the area, Foot Locker. They're going to be moving to the downtown St. Petersburg area. You see that the market is different in downtown St. Petersburg. You have a lot of condos that are being developed. So that means these are thousands of people that are actually be living in St. Petersburg, downtown. Within, obviously a downtown is only so big, but even the surrounding areas. So, I mean, you have thousands of people that are moving just to that specific area. That increases demand for a lot of things: restaurants, grocery stores, transportation. Obviously, with grocery stores, you got food, entertainment. People are going to need entertainment, things to do. So all of this is going to be increasing in these different downtowns, where you have other downtowns that may be a little bit more vacant. So keep that in mind as you guys move forward. Like I said before, understand your market. Once you have a better understanding of your market, you'll have a better understanding of what is going on for you. So keep that in mind, guys. With that being said, guys, I want to go ahead and wrap this up. This is 2025. And with that being said, you guys have been awesome. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate you guys chiming in and giving your feedback. More things to come. We're going to be doing a nice little facelift to the program here. So a lot of the feedback that I've been receiving and the help. So it's not even just giving feedback, but it's also the help that has been presented. I always appreciate that. Encourage you guys to keep sending me messages. I get the messages that people are sending, always giving suggestions, and also pointers and tips to other people that are looking to get involved and actually help out. So I appreciate that. State of the Real Estate with yours truly, Chris Brown. This is a platform where we not only talk about buying, selling, and investing in real estate, but we also talk about hot entrepreneur topics, as well as building generational wealth. So it's one of the big things I like to push here, guys. So thank you once again. Feel free to connect with me on social media at Chris Brown RE Pro. You can look at me on those different platforms and you'll find me there. Feel free to set up an appointment with me. If you're in the Tampa Bay area and you're thinking about selling your home, go ahead and set up an appointment with me, and we can go ahead and do a free consultation. There's no obligation. We can see if we are a match, and if we are a match, then we can go ahead and move forward. And if we're not a match, hopefully I can go ahead and refer you to someone else. So with that being said, guys, enjoy the rest of 2024, and I'll see you in 2025. Take care.